Sir, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Where's he going? Selfless, not selfish. Yeah, still sitting here. I heard some noises from the trailer this morning when I was walking out. Hey, Jay. Hey, Jay. He was calling my name. What are you doing? Are you going to work on me today? No, I can't. Yeah, still here. It's a pretty truck. Hopefully sooner than later, we can get this thing on the road, get it together so we can drive it. Looking forward to it. Yeah, man, good stuff. Yeah, this is called selfless, not selfish. If I was selfish, I would have this out of the trailer and it would be in my shop working on it right now. But anyway, that's not why you're here. Welcome back to the channel. It's a gorgeous day here in Pennsylvania. Oh, light breeze, 70 degrees. Let me show you what we're working on today. Come on in. Oh, got our bender set up. Cleaned up some tube. I was talking to myself the entire time. I had a whole little skit that I was doing, and my microphone wasn't turned on. So we're gonna bend up some tube. Back when I was in Florida, made a jig for the upper and lower control arms for the S10. I'm gonna try this, put a link over my finger for a video that explains how I came up with these numbers. It's a really good video for the front suspension. Maybe when you get some time, go on, take a look-see at it. But yeah, so we're gonna bend up. I don't remember the degrees because it's been a hot minute, but I made up some temp arms. So all we gotta do is cut the bushings off, clean everything up, and I could figure out what the degrees were. Mic check, mic check. Now I really can't hear myself, but watch this. Oh yeah, there it is. So we're gonna cut these apart so we can figure out what angle these were bent at. Need these. I'm going to show you why I don't need them in just a second, but I do need this ball joint though, and I need this cup. These just unscrew, like this. This. Okay, I'm going to clean these up with the flat disc. Gotta clean this up too, and we'll go back to our workstation. Hi, got our parts cleaned up. So now what we need to do is figure out what degree I had bent these on. We're gonna cheat. So it looks like this was bent at a 45. So we have a 45 here. Looks like 54 degrees. Oddly enough, I learned this trick many years ago watching a fellow YouTuber build a roll cage, and this is how I learned from watching him, and hopefully I could pass this on. But the way I like to bend pipe is every inch I put a mark. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 24. 24. We'll stop at 30. But we're going to go 2 inches. to the end. We need a 50-degree bend. Here we go. I believe we're stopped at 45. We got to reclock it. 54. Once this settles, we're basically at 50 degrees. So we're using our existing piece as a guide, and we are 65 degrees. So my digital angle finder, the cheating method, was not working. I marked where the ends of the bushings are going to be, and I've traced out, obviously you can see I traced out the tubing, I traced out the template, I traced out the ball joint keeper. So it's kind of like cheating. Now what I need to do is, this goes inside here, wrong way. This goes like this. This goes like this. Now that I've got my arm sort of laid out, you can see the ends are going to get put onto here. Before I weld these onto the arms, I'm going to bolt my jig back in place, set everything up, put the ball joint in, have everything, you know, nicey nice, because we can't just assume if I go and I put these here like this and tack them on, how am I supposed to know if I'm going to be able to get the bar, this thing through, you know, with the bushings? We don't know if it's going to work or not. So that's why this is very important. And this was machined specifically for this. All of this that I'm doing right now is because I could not find an 1.5-inch ball joint keeper. And why they only make them 1 inch is beyond me. But I just can't find them. I've searched high and low. It's all good. So we just got to improvise. It's what happens. That's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, guys. Another day. Got a frog in my throat. It's early in the morning. Back out here grinding away. As always. Made a lot of progress yesterday. We got one arm completed. Today we're going to work on the second arm. I just want to go over a couple things with you guys. Arm is set up in the jig. It's all tacked up. Now, you see how it moves. Nice and smooth. There's no binding. That's because of this bar. It's holding everything together. Get this to go back in here again. Okay. We're going to put our level or angle finder on there. You can see our arm is completely level. That being said, I want to point something out. Notice how the arm is angled down towards the back of the, well, the back mount is angled slightly towards the ground. This is called anti-Ackerman. Now, I'm just recently learning about this. Anti-Ackerman, what this does is when you turn your steering wheel, one wheel will get ahead of the other to create different turning patterns. Let's say you turn it all the way to the left. This wheel may point at, we're just going to use the clock, okay? The left wheel may point at, we'll call it 10 o'clock, where the right wheel would point more like, I don't know, 1:30, 1 o'clock. You see, they're not parallel with the two, and that's what this does right here. This aids in tracking of the wheels when you as you're turning. If they track the same, you'll end up with wheel scrub, and you know the car won't may not turn as good. Got to keep in mind there's a lot of shit, and I say shit because there's a lot of shit that goes involved in setting up front suspension, caster, camber, you know, your steering, your geometry of your rack and pinion. There's so much. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. Do I know a good portion of it? Absolutely. With that being said, I feel once this truck, and again, keep in mind, the chassis has been narrowed big time to allow the wheels to tuck inside of the fenders to turn at a really low, suspension setup, extremely hard. When the truck is aired out, you could stick your fist and damn near turn it in circles in between the side of the tire and the fender, to allow the truck to turn really low. So you can't always get what you want, but what we want is obviously the truck to be low, really low, and to be able to turn really low. So is it going to perform like a Corvette? Absolutely not. It's a body drop truck. I mean, what do you think you're going to get in the end? That's all I'm getting at, is you try to achieve the bulk of the goals. No bump steer, correct caster, correct camber when you're setting the suspension up. Again, hours and days, countless days in getting this front suspension set up. Take the time, plan it, do it right, and you can reap the rewards later. So with that being said, I'm getting off on a tangent. On this one, like I said, it's ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld one side. We're going to let this cool down. Then I'm going to weld the other side. Let it cool down. Then I'm going to weld this side. And let it cool down, and so on and so on. Once this is welded completely, we'll break the fixture apart. Go ahead and weld the bungs onto the arm. And then once that's done, obviously we can clean the arm up. You could see how and what this started out as, a giant chunk of steel. And I just basically grinded it, by hand with a flap disc. I'm probably going to grind a little more right here because I'm going to take the arm off, for a nice picture presentation. And just clean it up a little bit more, make it a little more uniform. Also, one thing I want to point out, I'll have to notch the arm, not the arm, excuse me, the chassis right here. I'm going to end up sticking a sleeve inside of here, like a bevel, like this almost. And the reason I'm doing this is because, again, keep in mind the arm is angled towards the ground, which is what we want. The caster is angled towards the firewall. I know I'm talking a lot, but you got to pay attention to this. And we're going to clean it up. And the arm, he's already got insane travel, probably about 11 inches, 10 to 11 inches of travel in the front suspension, which is really cool. And yeah, it's looking good, looking really good. At cruise, I set it up for, I believe it was -2 degrees camber. That means the wheel is angled slightly this way. For that, when he gets a wheel alignment, they can put shims in it, they can adjust it, they can do whatever, depending on his ride height, he can do. If it was positive camber, you'd never get an adjustment out of it. It wouldn't work. I've been taking my time welding this. I just finished the top portion of the ball joint collar. So this is a thread chaser, and from welding it, there's a possibility of damaging the threads. So by having this thread chaser in here, if there was a little bit of warpage, this has the ability to clean the threads up. So that's why I left that inside of there. And yeah, I don't know what happened here. I'll have to grind that out. A little bit of a booger job. Something must have contaminated it, but other than that, she looks good, man. Other side is It's looking really pretty. You can see that looks gorgeous. So now we're just playing the waiting game, letting it cool, welding, letting it cool, welding, letting it cool, watching the dog whisperer, letting it cool, and so on and so on. So I ended up cutting in a little pocket inside the chassis for the arm to clear. Probably didn't have to, but it was hitting when the truck was all the way raised up. So I'm not in the mood to take any chances. So now you can see we go all the way into the bag, which is beautiful. So we're going to assemble the arm here. I have a bungee. Get our washers. And the only thing left on this side for the suspension that needs to be done is going to be the shock. I got to find some shocks. I measured them out. I got an idea. 1, 2. I'm going to go to the hardware store. Somehow in transit, I lost one of the nuts. I actually have a whole nother setup off the old Samurai golf cart chassis. I'll just go in the back and take it off of that. But there it is, man. That's one side done. Now we're going to take a measurement. I believe this is pitched at 5. It should be pitched at -5 degrees. Basically 4.9. Yeah, 5. Yep, -5 degrees. Again, for the Ackerman, anti-Ackerman. We're not going to get into that whole spiel all over again, but that's why I angled the arm down. And yeah, cool, man. Zip gun. Not making it too tight because we need to make our adjustments. And this thing is dusty. Ta-da! Alrighty, we want 5 degrees. That's 2. That's 4. 4.5. It's too much. Oh, it's too much. A little bit. Right there. We can tweak it. We're basically going to drill this hole. So right there is good. I'm happy with that. Fun fact for you, if you was to spin the indicator the other way, the arrow would point in the downwards direction. Yeah, so we're good. So currently we're at 2 degrees. Now we're starting to go to 0. And then it's going to go, see, -2 degrees. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. That's the arc of the suspension. But at ride height, most importantly, we are at 0, close to 0. So currently, we got the arm hitting the chassis. So we're going to take this chunk of DOM, going to cut this out like we did on the other side with the plasma cutter and the chop disc. Cut some nice straight lines and then cut the smiley face. This is double layered, so this is 1/8 inch steel and this is 1/4 inch steel. So we got to cut, same thing on the top, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. We got to cut straight through. It's about 3/8 of an inch. Probably overkill, but that's okay. We'll cut this out and get that piece situated inside there. So one more thing I'd like to point out. I'm using grade 8 bolts with the shoulder instead of your standard, 3/4 nut like this or bolt like this. These are nice and beefy. They're great for situations like this. And now if you look, you can see how one hole is higher than the other. And we'll have to just clean this up so it matches accordingly. But yeah, again, man, there's a lot of thought that went into this. Nothing's ever cut and dry. It's kind of like build as you go also. You got constantly retrofitting, changing. And at the end of the day, man, it mentally, physically burns you out. Like you can hear it in my voice right now, like I'm burnt. I've been out here since 7:30 in the morning. It's now 2:30. I haven't stopped because I want to get this done. I want to put this behind me, the front suspension. We'll put our piece in. Should go this way. Yes. Go. A little tacky tack. Right in my ear. I don't know how that happens. How it manages to find my ear from here to go into my ear is beyond me. Okay, looking good. Now we've got our little half moon. We're gonna put inside of here. We'll do our smiley face. Ta-da! Okie dokie. And we do this. And this. Ta-da! Beautiful. Awesome. Very cool. There's one more thing I want to check. Go back to ride height, which is going to be around here. $10 degrees. Life is good. 10 degrees of positive caster. That's it, man. Some days you get the bull, and some days you get the horns. And today was one of those days that I got the horns. I can tell you that right now. Today is definitely one of those days. Yeah, trying to take a position in Google for a long-term swing trade, and every time I think that it bottoms, it ends up creating a new low, and then I get stopped out, and then I got to enter another position again, take a small loss, and then it goes a little lower, and then it goes a little lower. I just want to buy some shares and leave it and be green at the end of the day. Is that so hard? I guess today it is, apparently. So, all right, guys. It's Saturday. Been out here since 7:30, working on getting the steering column mounted, and was doing some trimming under the dash, fixing to make some bracketry for the steering column, and I ran into an issue with my mini welder. I wasn't getting any gas coming out of the the torch head. So I remember the last time I used this machine, I was having an issue where gas wasn't coming out, but it solved itself, and it was working fine. Here we are, I don't know, several months later. It just didn't want to work. So watched a quick video on YouTube. This is the gas valve. I'm going to put it in pretty close, see if you can see it. It's basically a 12-volt solenoid. Same as air suspension shit. Your gas line comes in, you energize the solenoid, it lifts the valve up, and air, your argon comes out the other end. Well, obviously it wasn't working. So I got to thinking, I'm like, Thankfully, I had this air valve sitting on my workstation for the longest time, and oddly enough, it's a 12-volt valve, obviously, for cars, air suspension. I said, let me go take a look and see, because I was looking online to see if Harbor Freight had, or Tractor Supply, Home Depot, one of them, if they were, had one of these valves in stock, and apparently nobody did, nor did Amazon. You couldn't get it like a tomorrow thing. It was more like a week from now or 2 weeks from now. And I'm like, this really sucks. Well, first thing I did was test the voltage to make sure the voltage was coming out, meaning that the circuit board wasn't damaged, and the voltage was good. So great, this is awesome. So I ended up having to just makeshift the body, connected all the pieces to the puzzle to get it to work in line. So I don't know if you can hear that. That's an air valve for air suspension inside of my welder to make it work. So the funny story is about this, and I don't want to get off on a tangent. Obviously, I can fix shit like this and I can build shit like this, but I am horrific at becoming profitable trading. Hopefully that's going to change. It just blows my mind how I'm so talented in this, but I'm the worst with making money in the stock market. Go figure. So anyway, we're gonna work on getting the steering column mounted. I have some really great ideas, and I'm going to show you them all in a minute. I'm sorry to get off, the topic, but sometimes, again, do you want to be the guy that stays inside his box, or do you want to be the guy that thinks outside the box? And fortunately and unfortunately, everything that we do in life, realistically, is outside of the box. You have to, whether it's home improvement, finances, work, everything you got to do is outside the box. So enough of the chit chat. Let me get this thing back together and we can start working back underneath the dashboard. All right, gentlemen, ladies, it's Monday. Currently, we're working on the steering column. I have a plan to, connect the steering column to the rack, and we have some puzzles, some pieces of the puzzle that we've got to put together. Going to show you all what I'm working on at the moment. So currently I made this through hole. Just ignore the bolts. The hardware store didn't have the bolts that I wanted, so I had to use what I have here. But basically the column slides through. This bolts to the firewall to hold the column, the bottom side, the bottom portion of the column to you know, to the firewall. I had to make some ears. These are going to get welded like this, one on one side, one on the other side, to secure the column to this, which will be secured to the firewall, obviously. And the other set will get welded onto the column. So obviously you see the bolt here, you remove the bolt, boom, boom, boom. You can remove the column, but we still have one more bracket that we've got to make to secure the column to the dashboard. So we just got to do some cleaning up, but basically we're going to trim the opening here a little bit. I'm not doing it right now, but I'm going to have to trim the opening a smidgen to move the column over just a little bit. There's literally no room to, for your linkage. So every bit of real estate is important, but there's a factory bracket here that would secure the top portion of the Impala steering column. So I need to come up with a bracket, like a clamshell, to secure, to bolt to this and then secure the steering column from the bottom side. And that's what we're going to work on next. But first, I've got to get, the portions, I've got to get the pieces inside of here secured. That way I can figure out my bracketry. But basically, you'll have a joint that will come out and angle down. I'll have to trim all this inside of here. We got to remove the motor. Might have to trim the bottom of the mount a little bit, but 3/4 D to D shaft will come down on an angle, and then you'd have another joint somewhere in this vicinity that would connect this portion to that portion. And keep in mind that this is not the rack and pinion that we're using. This is just the Florida rack and pinion that I had bought off eBay for, I don't know, it was like 60, 70 bucks. I'll save it for myself. I'm not ever going to use it, on this, but yeah. So little by little, piece by piece, part by part, it's all coming together. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of, fabricating one part for this part, for that part, for that part. And it's just, it's one of those things. It is what it is, unfortunately. But on the bright side, I could say I completely 100% built the entire truck. All right. Squeeze my button here. You can see column looks nice. Brake pedals in, but we got one small problem. The tab that I was going to use for securing of the column, no good. We're going to have to put it down here, and we'll weld a little tab above my finger here to secure the steering column. Yeah, very cool. So not only that, we're good with giving you a visual. This is basically how she's going to look, somewhere in this vicinity. This will, even if I need to cheat it, I can go back a little further. I don't think I'm going to have to, but you see how she angles down. It's going to go under and connect right to the rack. Hey man, what's that noise? You hear that? Can you hear that? Yeah, bud, we got the fan on today. It's a little warm out. It's actually really cool in here. Surprisingly, I figured it would have been a little hotter in here, but some reason it holds the temperature. I'm happy. It's probably like 10 or 15 degrees cooler in here than it is outside. And obviously we don't have air conditioning in here yet, but anyway, I'm excited. We're gonna get back to work on this. We gotta pull everything back out. This is part of the process. You install it, you retrofit, you remove it, you reinstall it, you remove it, you reinstall it until you get 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Is what it is. Well guys, that's gonna do it for this video, unfortunately. Out here in Michigan, and they didn't get bad weather that was supposed to come, which is good for them, not for me. But yeah, so we'll follow up with the video when we get home. I'll put some images on the screen of little things we've encountered on the journey here to Michigan, which is basically like a 9-hour trip from Philly to Michigan. So have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.